I'm kind of done tagging people because I just keep getting, messed up on it.
Ready?
Yeah, I'll vamp a little bit.
There you go.
Hello, junkies. It is I, your editorial director, Bob, or Robert, as I go by on the page. It is just I today. Evan has never seen Planet of the Apes. MJ's not that big of a fan, and he's out busting ghosts. We will not have him today. This should be interesting for me. It may be a little painful because I really don't like opening up toys that often. It's fine when we know that we're reviewing them for the site. It's not really something I collect. However, Planet of the Apes is one of my, I want to say guilty pleasures. I really love Planet of the Apes. I'm actually writing my own Planet of the Apes story. I'm trying to get it submitted to Boom Studios, who has the comic book rights right now. So that's a nice, long, drawn-out process. But by saying that I'm actually writing my own Planet of the Apes comic, kind of establishes how much of a fan I am. So yes, I do have the big box set. Yes, I've seen the Tim Burton one. Actually, I've just gotten a Tim Burton teaser poster. So I actually got that, the one with Michael Clark Duncan on it. So we sat down with Super7. Evan's here today. He's just off camera. Or he has Evan cam. We went to Toy Fair. We went to Super7's booth, and they had a full wave of the first ReAction Planet of the Apes figures. Now, we do have an image of Wave 2, so let's put Wave 2 up. And Wave 2, these are coming out. There is no date for these. As you can see, they're just prototypes. That is our own photo, so it's not like we pulled it from the internet. It's definitely a photo I took. If you want to check out more of that video, it is on our YouTube page under Super7 Toy Fair 2018. It'll also be posted in this part on the website when we repost this as its own article. It'll be at the bottom. But those figures are great. If you can see them, we get a couple of gorillas. We get the lawgiver statue. That is just Cornelius in the spacesuit, and then as you can see, we have some mutants, which is pretty cool. There was no announcement of Dr. Milo in the spacesuit or Zira in the spacesuit. I did ask. I wanted to make sure that wasn't Dr. Milo. It is Cornelius. As you can see right here in front of me, I do have the MediaCom toy lawgiver statue. I happened to luck out with several of these at a flea market and picked up a bunch for like $4 a piece. I gave away a Dr. Zaius to a friend who really liked it, but the lawgiver never gets packed up. He always gets put on my desk, my home desk. So it's a fun little one, and I thought it'd be a great one to show us, some scale here of the Super7. So, as we're vamping here, we got 9 people on. Hello, Jason. Nice to see you on. Daniel, hello. As we're vamping here a little bit, allowing more people to join, Super7 announced today that they will be at Comic-Con, of course, but besides just having a presence inside the convention floor, they're actually going to be at their own store within 15-minute walk of the convention center. So they have their own store in San Francisco, but they will have a store in San Diego just as a pop-up store. Now, Evan had a question.
I was going to ask you which con you were talking about.
Oh.
You didn't say San Diego or
okay.
New York, so that's why.
Okay, so Evan wanted to make sure. Yes, it's the San Diego Comic-Con. Let's get into some of these. We have 6. We're going to go relatively quick today. But like I said, it is going to be painful for me. So let's talk about the packaging here.
You said you want to talk about the artist for the packaging.
Well, yeah.
Artwork by Ed Repka.
Yes. So Ed Repka.
I have the image up.
All right. So the image is up. This guy Ed Repka did a lot of rock covers. So I have down, you can see that he did covers for Megadeth, NoFX. These are, the packaging done for these is just on another level. I like it because it's very much in that style and theme of Monsters of Movieland magazine type of thing. So we really get a great interpretation of the character to the point where it almost really looks like the actor in the makeup. This creates a very hard dilemma for me because I love the packaging as well as the artwork. I love the old Star Wars style of packaging that they've done here. and it's going to be very painful for me to open these. But because I have to do it in such a way that I don't destroy the artwork, so it's going to be a little tough.
I want to mention that when we first got these in, one of the tabs fell out, and Bob was like, "Oh no!" Here's like, "You think I can get it back in?"
So I had to explain to Evan, and maybe can we zoom in on this one?
Yeah, you go.
So up here is the peg hole. This one here does not have a peg hole, and it fell out. So I actually went through the entire box to see if the little cardboard slip was in there, because this one here, as we see Dr. Zaius, his is complete. Now, if you're an old school collector, if you find a Star Wars package like this, or maybe a G.I. Joe, you've hit gold because it's basically an unpunched card. This drives people crazy. You can see the difference. I'm sure these would be interchangeable if I really wanted to keep Cornelius here as perfect as possible. But like I said, it's going to be painful. We're going to open these up. Yeah, won't be the same. Chris Class, thanks for coming in. Yeah, don't open it. It's tough. But
This was part of the fun of it.
Yeah, this is part of the frustration part. I fully plan on picking these up again, or maybe just one or two. But part of me also wants to open them up and pose them, put them on my desk, have them interact with the G.I. Joes and the Star Wars characters and things. But let's talk about the packaging. So let's do that first.
Where'd he go? There he is.
Now, as I've already described, Ed Ripka did a fantastic job on the artwork here. I would gladly have a t-shirt or a poster of any one of these. I think these are fantastic. On the back, we can see that we have the first wave. We have all 6 characters, so that's the collect them all kind of feature that used to be on everything. Super 7 logos up here. And let's just also establish this. Funko used to have the ReAction title. Super 7 bought it from them, and now they've been doing it straight through. Cut the bubble from the bottom, slips right out. I'm gonna try that, Raul. I got 6 chances to get this right. I got 6 chances to get this right. So Super 7 has been doing the ReAction line. Hellboy is coming. Wave 2, as we mentioned before, the Planet of the Apes figures. We're gonna put the image back up if you're just joining us. So we have those really, really cool figures. Hopefully there's 5 original Planet of the Apes movies. Hopefully we get as far as making 4, up to 4, which is, first is the first, but the 4, a friend of mine once called the Fight Club of the Planet of the Apes movies, so I really hope that we do get some figures from 4. Nothing from 5, because 5 is just bad, except maybe John Huston as as the old orangutan. And who doesn't want a Paul Williams figure? So heck with that. Yes, we want figures all the way through 5 because we really want Paul Williams playing the Apes character. So let's start with, we're going to do this in a process of, let's see if Bob can do it without hurting too much of the figure.
So why are you starting with that one?
We're going to start with Nova. So we're going to start with her and try to open her up. All right, so here we go. Like I said, this is going to be tough. It'd be good if I actually use the end with the blade on it. Now, a lifetime of collecting Star Wars figures, you think would prepare me for this.
Daniel was asking how much do these cost?
Thank you. Totally forgot to mention that. These figures cost $15 a piece. They do have it's not really a deal. You can get them all 6 on Super 7 for $90. Wow. I have cut it into the cardboard. I should have just cut the bubble. I was trying to cut away, and I'm so cut into it. The other ones will not be as difficult as this. All right, I just cut into the bubble, and we've opened up. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. A little bit of glue. I got a little paper sticking up there. But we do have Nova. So we have the, Charlton Heston's mate from Planet of the Apes. As far as here we go. As far as her face goes, the Super 7 figure does have a very basic kind of look, but that's part of the figure. So as we compare her here to a Kenner original C-3PO, we can see that it's not too much articulation. There's not a lot of detail on her face. The artwork looks great, and for the life of me, I cannot remember the actress's name right now.
Wow,
which is
you
really
care about this movie,
it's
huh?
really. I know her name is Nova, and
It says it on the package,
yeah, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. I'm blanking on this. So, as you can see, not a lot of detail. We've got the basic articulation. We've got a scantily clad Nova, of course. Now, I will say the face is very straightforward, but we do have little toes. So, if we can zoom in on that, I don't know if you can zoom in on that at all. Am I holding it up right?
You are. It's difficult. Just put it up next to the...
So you can see that she does have toes.
Yeah, I just pulled this one.
All right, we're going to go to Evan Cam, and we're just going to show you, zoom in here. We do have toes, and we do have fingers. So as you can see, she has toes, and then if we just put her hands down here, she's got fingers. So there's the old sci-fi joke of she's the perfect woman because she can't speak. Linda Harrison, thank you, Jason. Which is really terrible because I had the chance to actually see her once in LA when I was there, and there was no place to park, and the line to get in at the convention center was 2 miles long. So I just totally was like, nope, forget it, and drove home. So I really wanted to meet Linda Harrison, who's also in the movie Cocoon, by the way. Ron Howard movie. All right, let's go to Taylor next. Maybe I'll be a little bit better on this. Now, Taylor, Nova had no accessories. Taylor does come with the gorilla rifle, so that's nice.
While you're doing that, because you're opening it, Jason said just rip off the Band-Aid. I think Jason just wants you to get in there. Greg says cut away from you're going to cut yourself.
I know. Scout too. You think I'd be better with that?
Jason says, "Don't thank me, thank Google." Daniel's asking if it's good.
I'd say it's a very solid figure. Nova is. There's not a lot of meat to her because she's scantily clad and Ape's new suit. You don't. Now, hopefully, they will make Taylor in the space costume with a beard. I think that would be cool. Not bad. Now, the gun was taped in there, so we do have that. And as far as likenesses go, it's not bad. But again, we have much smaller details here. So the rifle is interesting because you want to put the thumb into the trigger hole, but it's not really doing it. His hands are fairly large, but I think this is going to be an over-the-shoulder kind of deal. Or maybe just... Another issue is that we have to remember that these toys are in the style of older toys, of Kenner figures. And the articulation and the posability is not what we are used to at this level, or this age. So here we have Nova next to Taylor. Taylor's slightly taller than a C-3PO. Again, this is an original Kenner figure, so we're getting an idea of what they look like in scale and size. I think it looks like, it's a Star Wars version of Charlton Heston without his clothes on. So, I mean, a little bit of modification on this. You got John the Baptist, or you've got Moses. So, it's all good. So we got the first two down. Now we're going to get into the apes. So we got 4 apes here, and I have to say, this was not one I expected to be my instant favorite, but I have a thing for villains, and this is actually General Ursus, who's actually
You like Bad Boys.
Yeah, I don't know why. He's actually from Beneath the Planet of the Apes, which is the sequel. You kind of see some of the gorillas in the background, but there's really no real commander, so you can see this in the second film. Most people kind of forget about that, especially if you watch them all in a row. Let's see here.
Raul Ramos says hashtag Bob needs to watch Justice League. Jason says kind of looks like Tarzan.
Yeah, definitely a Tarzan-y feel to it.
And Sean says rock me, Dr. Zaius.
Yeah. I can see. Oh wow, he's got a holster and gun does not come out. So again, he comes with the same rifle that Taylor had.
That's a fancy looking figure for being 4 inches.
Yeah, and I did fairly good job, I think, and still got the peg hole up top. So he does come with the rifle. The rifle was taped in just like the Star Wars figures used to do back in the day. And let's see if he holds the rifle a little bit better. Well, I think he's going to hold the rifle the same way. So let's do, let's take away the Evan cam. Well, let's show him off here. So as you can see, we have fantastic detail here on the face. Now, part of the reason why, and I'm not 100% sure of this, is that the faces may not be so great on Taylor and Nova, is that the actors may not have signed away their licenses. If you look at the Charlton Heston one, we'll go back to the wide shot here, it's close, but it's not 100% Charlton Heston. Like, I know it's supposed to be Charlton Heston. However, if you look at the Nova, yeah, it's pretty much Linda Harrison, you know, from that time and era. So maybe because this is also a actor in a mask, it's a little bit easier to do, but we do have a great look on the face here. The hat, his head there, we've got the ape hieroglyphics there mixed onto his helmet. And then what I thought was great was he actually has, now it doesn't come out of the holster, but it's there. And when I was a kid, my brother always lost my weapons, so to have something that's permanently attached adds that extra layer to it, so it's never going to be an empty holster, so I really, really like that. So here, we'll compare here. So we have General Ursus, it's the original C-3PO, kind of give you a height difference here. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And then we'll compare him here to Taylor. Remember, these two characters never really met on screen. Gives you an idea of the size and scope. But I'm loving the General Ursus. So let's go back to the wide shot here. Loving the General Ursus.
We got a couple comments. How often do the waves come out?
That I'm not sure on. And I'd really like to know how often the waves come out. Super7 seems to, it seemed to be on their own time schedule. It's not like something that's been announced, and it's something that we've definitely been following here at AFJ, because Super7, what they put out with their He-Man, a lot of their rock and roll characters, this is all stuff that we're very interested in, and we think that our generation of collectors, or at least mine, not Evan's, is interested in those. So we're definitely trying to stay up with Super7. This is our first major review for them, so we're really excited that they were able to send us a full wave of these figures, and wave 2, I'm all ready. I can't wait.
Greg says that he looks all right. Sean says the sculpt on the gorilla is nice.
Yeah.
And AFJ, I'm not sure who's doing that one.
Yes,
Let's know how the butt is.
I think we've got a standard butt here on the back of this figure.
Do you want to go to the close up of that one right there?
So we have standard butt. That's a joke left over from the from the Predator show we did earlier in the week. It's also great that Super7 has put, just like they did with the Star Wars figures, they put the copyright of the year, the company, all of that. The trademark is all here on the back, just like an old Star Wars figure. I could easily have a General Ursus walking around a Star Wars diorama, or have him in the back of a Star Wars bar setup. That would be a joke for me and nobody else. So we're going to open up Kim Hunter next, Zira.
Can you do it on the stand?
Well, do it on the stand to cut it open?
I just want to be able to see it.
Oh, okay.
Because you were doing it behind the stand and I couldn't
I'm sorry.
see it.
So here we go. Zira,
Yeah.
Kim Hunter.
Well, you know that one.
Well,
Very standard butt.
Yeah. So, what I'm already digging about Zira is I'm really liking the fact that they have really, I don't want to say articulated feet, but the feet are very, very cool. They've got the shoes on her. So, again, it's very much like an old Star Wars figure, which is just great for me because I think this is fantastic. I also think it's kind of fun if we do a little history here. Mego had the opportunity to do Star Wars, and they pretty much turned it down. And then now here we are, 40 years later, and there's a company, one of Mego's big contracts was Planet of the Apes, and they did plenty of play sets and toys and everything else. Here we are 40 years later, and now we're making Planet of the Apes figures that look like Star Wars figures. And immediately, just the way she sits, that's like a Star Wars figure sitting in a vehicle, sitting in a bar top, any of those things. So Zira comes with nothing, and I think this is a fantastic figure. She's doing she's got that kind of that Zira look, that she's a little bit perturbed, not happy with her function in life, or sorry, not function, her station in life, being a woman and being a chimpanzee. Which is one of, people talk about great female characters, and I think Zira was definitely one of the forerunners of, I don't want to say action stars, but a female character with a voice, and Zira was great.
Daniel's asking, what does it say in the right-hand corner? I think it's the ReAction figures, right?
Right. Down here, I'm guessing this is what you're talking about, Daniel. We have a ReAction. It's just the logo, and it says figures. So
It's supposed to be like Kenner.
Yeah, very much like Kenner. And up here at the top, it says Cornelius, and then it actually tells us what movie it's from. And that's how we know that General Ursus is from the second movie. So it's a full wave of the first movie, plus one extra character from the second. It's nice to actually get a gorilla. I was surprised that we didn't get a gorilla foot soldier, just a regular, or even a sergeant. I mean, a gorilla on a horse, done in the style of a dewback or a tauntaun, I think would be another great thing for Super 7 to do.
I don't think that's a wave 1 thing.
No. And clearly wave 1 is to establish, is there an interest? And it must be enough, because wave 2...
That's what we've learned. That's what we learned from Super 7. He said, most of the new waves of these things are to see if anybody's interested in doing it.
Right.
Buying it.
But this is also Planet of the Apes' 50th anniversary. So there's lots of screenings going on. I know of a theater in outside of Philadelphia that's showing 3 of them on Father's Day. So there's a lot of interest. We had a movie last year, which I thought was kind of odd. They didn't wait 1 year to release it with all the hoopla this year. We've had lots of box sets, and lots of different companies have been releasing all kinds of great Planet of the Apes stuff.
All right, Sean's asking, do they have a Caesar?
I
don't think they've gotten there yet.
Yeah, Caesar would be the 4th movie, but I wouldn't be surprised if Caesar isn't introduced into the 3rd wave, perhaps. We are getting some mutants, which I think is kind of odd, because I would have gone with more main characters right away and then release them. But if they're releasing them waves by the films, it seems like as if we're getting one character from the next movie in each wave. So wave 1 had General Ursus, which is from the second film. In the next wave, in wave 2, we're actually getting Cornelius as an Apenaut. So that gives us that as a figure from 3. Ricardo Montalban from the end of the 3rd film, as Ormondo should have his own figure. And should come with Baby 8. That would be awesome too.
Did you just say Apenaut?
Apenaut, yep.
Okay.
Watch the film. Watch the film.
Sure.
Watch the film, man. All right, so we're going to go with Cornelius himself, since, we do a Caesar. Here is Caesar's father.
Wasn't Caesar the one from the prequels?
Sort of.
Okay.
It's not the direct descendant of Caesar.
Okay.
The names are the same. So Cornelius actually comes with a scroll, which is fitting. Doing pretty good here, not ripping these up. I love the artwork of all of this enough to keep these the way they are, and I'll have to bag all these figures. Really, we're gonna zoom in here. We do have the scroll, and I'm not really sure which way you're supposed to hold it, but we're gonna hold it like that. It looks like a rolling pin. But let's zoom in here, and we're going to show. I'm going to show you the hands and the feet again. So we're not missing any detail here. Feet are great. We've got the ape shoes, and then as you can see, the hands. Still in that Kenner style, but enough that he could hold on to it. And I think the face on this one is a little bit better than Zira's. But as far as, is that Roddy McDowell? It's close enough for me, especially in this style and at this, at this, he's about 375 figures, so he's almost 4 inches. I'd say that the gorilla is probably 4 inches. And actually, I can tell you exactly how big he is.
Do you want help?
I got it. And I'm going to need help. So we're going to hold on to him here. We're going to put the gorilla right next to him, General Ursa. And then we're going to drop this. It's not really locking in place. So as you can see, Ursa is a little over 4 inches, and Cornelius is about 3.75. So
Cornelius is probably
yeah,
the line.
I mean,
or do you think Taylor is the measure?
Taylor might be.
Oh god.
No, he's making a break for it. He's right at 4.
Okay.
Not bad. Not bad. So now we know the idea. So now we have one last one. And of course, the last one is the Chief Defender of the Faith and the Ministry of Science. The Minister of Science, Dr. Zaius, played by Maurice Evans. See, these names I can remember. I couldn't remember Linda Harrison. Couldn't remember Linda Harrison. My wife gave. She had to work that day, and I was like, I'm going to go see Linda Harrison. And she goes, uh-huh. And I'm like, Linda Harrison in 2012 is not Linda Harrison from 1968. Though, granted, I'm sure her 8x10 photos were all of Linda Harrison from 1968.
You should put up the Animal Kingdom next to the next one you put up.
I do. And I had that idea. I actually had some of our Spiro figures. I thought that would be fun. All right. Man, this was the one I did not want to mess up. And I think I've cut it 3 times. All right, now Dr. Zaius comes with his walking cane.
Daniel says they're good size figures.
They are. And you know what? So there's something about it. Like I have some of the NECAs. Actually, MJ gave me one as a present. I got 2 of the Gorilla Soldiers from NECA. I really like those. I never picked up Zira, never picked up Cornelius, never picked up Zaius. But I do have a couple of the MediaCom ones of those characters. I also have some of the, I'm not exactly sure who made them, but they did a Miko style of Dr. Zaius and Cornelius, and I got both of those. Plus I have an original Sideshow collectible Cornelius that comes with the doll, which is really kind of creepy. So here we have Zaius. He does have a hand. The cane does kind of go in sideways. So we do have that little thing right there. But we're going to show, we'll go to the cam here to show his back off a little bit. So as you can see, we do have the details here on the back. They're great. More of his outfit. And then we'll spin him around here. The face is very, very good for this size and articulation.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, it really does look like Maurice Evans under there. So, I would love to see a Comic-Con exclusive 3-pack of Dr. Zaius and the other 2 orangutans doing the See No Evil, Speak No Evil, Hear No Evil scene. That'd be neat. Maybe they could come with an ape sarcophagus that they had for that one scene. I know they're not in that scene, but that would be kind of neat. So let's put him up against the MediaCom statue here.
I'm back over there.
We're back over here now. We'll put him up next to the MediaCom statue. And this statue is not action figure size per se. It's supposed to be a little bit bigger, so gives you an idea of the size and scale. Sideshow Collectibles did a big version of this several years ago that it actually had the blood running down the face from the second movie, which is pretty cool. That's one of those kind of pricey, sought-after exclusives. Again, this is just a MediaCom toy that I brought in from my own collection. Now, we did get some, was it Warriors of the Animal Kingdom?
Yes.
From Spiro.
It's the Kingdom.
The Kingdom. So I thought I'd bring him in and show you guys a comparison. If you wanted to do a little mixing or have some fun. This is Pale from Spiro Kingdom. Also in kind of the Star Wars style, but a little bit more articulated. So
Very articulated.
Yeah. As far as like this one's a little bit, I'd say about the weight's the same. This is more solid, but we've got a different style of figures here completely, where this is going for more playability. This is going more for the collector's corner. Again, it's really painful for me, the fact that I opened those figures. I did not want to do that. But they're breathing, they're out, and you know what? Now that they're out, I can take them out and have fun with the pictures. Ape does not con exclusive ape. Nice, Sean. I really like that.
Russell says they look great. Richard says no exclusives. I don't know whether he wants no exclusives.
No, he's paraphrasing the film there, Evan. Evan's never seen Planet of the Apes, despite buying the box set not too long ago. Ape does not kill ape, so he's doing ape does not con exclusive apes.
No, Richard.
Where's Richard? No exclusives. So far, no.
But what I'm saying is I don't know whether he wants no exclusive or there are no exclusives.
Richard, you know what? We were just looking at Super7 today. If you're just joining us, they're going to have their own store, a pop-up store at Comic-Con this year in San Diego. They always have a store in San Francisco, but there will be their own store. They said it's a 15-minute walk. That's really not that far from the con into the Gaslamp District in San Diego. So I would definitely be going there after hours, after the show was over, especially with some of their T-shirts. They have some fantastic T-shirts. Do they do a chase figure, Daniel? So far, I don't think that they do. I don't think you're going to see these figures in too many stores. Maybe the comic book store from time to time, but I've never seen these at like at a Hot Topic. Yeah. I've seen the Mr. Freeze Batmans and most of the whole 66 Batman wave from them. I've seen them at a couple of different shows. I don't know if it's actually them. Do they do the ReAction?
Who?
Super7. I don't know if they do the ReAction Batman or not.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Evan is not allowed to watch a movie that is not G-rated. I actually think the first Planet of the Apes may be G-rated, or it was in that era where films weren't really rated.
I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah, I know. He bought the whole box set for what, $5?
$5.
$5. He got the first 5 films for $5.
It was pretty sweet.
I have the big Caesar head that has everything in it, including the cartoon and the Tim Burton movie and all the documentaries. So it's one of my grail pieces of movies that I have. And I'm always thrilled when I see another collector who actually has it. Because I'm like, oh my God, you have that too. And it's Caesar.
The Spider-Man meme looking at the other Spider-Man and pointing.
Exactly. I'm impressed by the Animal Kingdom line. I really want to pick those up, especially the 2 Thundercat Decos and Stinkor. We're going to be talking about Animal Kingdom tomorrow. So there'll be a thing up on the page, so you'll be able to follow that. And we're hopefully going to get some more reviews of the Animal Kingdom line, because we're hoping to do that next week. We're going to try and do that all throughout next week, hopefully. So let's put them up here. Take down the Lawgiver. Do a little spinny spin. Pale, you're going back over in your corner. As a collector of these figures, or of this genre of film, these are fantastic, and I absolutely love them. I'm glad I opened them. Still trying to not break out into some sort of panic mode that I opened them, but I was able to. I'm going to spin it here so you guys can get a full look at them here as I do a little talking. I think these are great, and I would easily buy all of them, and since I opened the first wave, I would probably open the rest now, just so that I could have some fun with them. I could pose them. I could do little, dioramas for them and stuff. I love taking pictures of these figures, figures in general, for my Instagram. I think it's relaxing. It's a nice way to actually, you spent money on these things. You might as well do something with them instead of just letting them collect dust for the next 10 years and then sell them off because you have a high credit card bill.
Before we end, I wanted to ask the question, because they're in this Kenner size, do you think it's the reason why people are buying them in Kenner size is because of the nostalgia? Or do you think if they had a $20 version of these figures, but they were like a Marvel Legend, would you rather that?
Well, Evan, they do have that. And NECA made them in that size of the Marvel Legends. So I think this is appealing to the older collector who would have liked to have had them in the Star Wars style. And remember, this movie came out in 68, Star Wars came out in 77. So you would kind of think that one would have imitated the other, especially because at the time, both properties were owned by Fox. And Fox was another that was another reason why Star Wars got made, because they're like, oh, we've had success with Planet of the Apes. Let's do another sci-fi movie. So I think with this, you're capturing the nostalgia of the original toy line of what it would have been like to have figures in this style. If you were a Star Wars collector and you grew up watching Planet of the Apes on like the marathon that Russell just talks about, if you watched them in the marathons like that, A rainy Sunday for me was watching Planet of the Apes. My dad always would say, hey, Planet of the Apes is on. We'd sit down and watch it. They kind of get bad around, I like 1 through 4 very well. 5 is like, I usually play the game of, can I see John Landis somewhere, because he is in the movie, the director. So 5's kind of cheesy. Did inspire, Argo in a lot of ways. So that's kind of fun too. But this is, these are great figures. They are for the collector. I doubt you would give these to a kid to play with at a $15 price point for, they are. But hey, maybe you got a kid who actually likes Planet of the Apes, who actually likes action figures and go off and have his own adventures. And that's, overall, that's what they should be for. But I think as these figures go, as a collector, I think they're 10 out of 10. I'd like a little bit better of the faces for Taylor and Nova, but I said, again, that might be a rights issue. I know Charlton Heston was very, very picky about what his face appeared on. And for the very first set of Topps movie cards based on Planet of the Apes, he could only be on 6 cards. And I think 1 or 2 of those was like the back of his head, and I think even 1 was his hand. So, maybe the Heston family just, going with Grandpa and Dad's wishes to not be a toy or be on a card or something. So we're going to wrap it up. Thank you for tuning in. Again, these are $15 a piece. If you go to Super7.com, you can go to their store. I think it's Super7 store. And you can go there. You can order all of them at once for $90, or you can just pick out the ones you'd like for $15.
If you could only get one, which one would you want?
If I can only buy one, and I hadn't opened them, or I was just looking at them online, I would have ordered Dr. Zaius. Now, in seeing them, I would have ordered General Ursa, because I think he's my favorite of the 6. However, if I was ordering them for my wife and I, because she loves Planet of the Apes too, I would have ordered Cornelius and Zira, and that would have been it. Would have been done. So there's different levels to it. We really like it. Thank you, Richard. We try. If you're just joining us, we do these at least once or twice a week.
We're doing another one today.
We're going to do another one today at 3 o'clock, where we're going to talk about the Batman DC collectible statues over here.
Barely see that,
We've got a Superman and a Wonder Woman. Actually, Superman's over here.
There.
And Wonder Woman, God only knows what happened. Oh, she's down here in the corner. You can barely see her. But she's here. So we're going to do those 3 today at 3 o'clock. And we'd like to thank you for tuning in, junkies. And this was a quick one, and we really appreciate it for you, those tuning in. And
quick one. We almost hit 40. We hit 40 minutes.
I know. Well, it's 6 figures.
I know.
Super7. We're going to put the graphic up at the end. And thank you for tuning in.
Bye, guys.
AFJ for life.